What up, YouTube? This is Brent, and welcome to Brent's Porch. We're having another roundtable discussion, just like we had 2 weeks ago. With my guests, we got Nakia, Fat, and Nick. How y'all feeling today?
How you doing,
Everybody feeling good?
Everybody feeling good. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
How you feeling, Fat?
I'm alright. Something about to happen.
I ain't nothing about to happen. Well, check this out. Here's our discussion.
Okay.
You know, 15.1% of all new marriages in the U.S. it's interracial marriages. 8.5% of new married black men marry white women, and like 2.3 or something like that of black women marry white men. So obviously, black men are running to white women far, far more than black women are. Mm-hmm. My question to y'all is: can you be pro-black and down with the black struggle and everything black if you marry a white spouse? So who want to take this first?
You go first?
You want to go first? Okay.
I'll go first. What I want to say is no. Why I want to say no is because of the feelings that I have, that knowing that I have a black spouse. Meaning, when I have struggles or there's something that gets to me, my husband can feel the strife with me. It's not like I have a protector. It's not like I have possibly a gatekeeper. It's a genuine feeling of we both got this same feeling because we've always felt this way in terms of our blackness. So I want to say no, you cannot. But reality is it happens for people every day. What is the girl who's on, I can't remember what show she's on. I want to say she's on How to Get Away with Murder. Matter of fact, no, it's Tiki something. Tiki something said, she's married or dating a white guy. And she was like, pretty much, he can handle himself. If I got to worry about him saying something or him having any issues, that's on him. But in my head, I want to say that's how we should look at it logically. But realistically, you ain't feeling what I'm feeling. He doesn't have to walk the plight that I have to walk. And I know that my black husband can understand when I come home to him and I'm dishing off my vents or my aggression, he's gonna get it. I don't know if a white person would get it other than empathizing. So I feel like, yes, it can because we see it, but for me, in my reality, no. You cannot be married to a white person and still be pro-black. That's the kid's personal thing.
You see the arms folded, yeah.
What about you? What you think?
Yeah.
It took me a minute because I agreed the same way. Like, this hell no, you can't be pro-black. Then I started to think about, because I already think racism is an illusion. Period.
Not today.
It's an illusion.
No, let it go. Come on, okay.
But if we want to get rid of racism, how do you do it?
Get rid of a race?
No. See?
Hold on. I'm not saying black and kill them, but if you got more black and white mixing,
exclude race as a.
It's gonna eliminate a whole. It's gonna eliminate a whole race. I'm not saying eliminate a race.
So to get rid of racism, we all have to work together. And this is different from me thinking weeks ago. You gotta work together. And I understand, like when it broke my heart, it made me look a little bit deeper now since I saw my man Shannon Sharp got a white wife.
Yeah, that was hard.
That ate my soul up. I couldn't think about nothing else for a minute.
See, that's why I can't wait to get my turn.
Dude, it took me, and then I said, you know what? What does your blackness
have to do with it?
Yes, because you being black and we want to stop racism.
Yeah.
The black people who I know the thing is they preach to us because I'm coming from that side of being pro-black and everything go to Africa and shit. But if you want to stop racism in America, there ain't no real such thing because everybody mixed. Everybody's same race in America. We worse than the Philippines.
Oh my God, Jesus.
As far as having mixed races.
So my point is, it depends. Like, I probably 20 years ago would have said you cannot be pro-black if you marry somebody outside of being black. I don't agree with that anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because I believe that being pro-black has something to do with me. I'm black. So it has to do with me. I'm going to be pro-black regardless. I do take issue, however, with black people, men and women in particular, who decide that marrying somebody other than a black person makes it more valuable. That's what I have an issue
I think
with.
that's where my issue
See,
comes
my
from.
issue is when you are saying, oh, I don't date black women.
Right.
Now, if you naturally, organically fall in love with somebody and they happen to be, because I too am in an interracial marriage. I am not married to a black woman.
Got it.
So therefore, that doesn't mean that I'm less black because I'm not married to a black woman.
Right.
Because I didn't choose her because she wasn't a black woman. It just happens to be who I fell in love with. See, the thing with people like Shannon Sharp, which I believe Shannon Sharp is pro-black, he probably just fell in love with a white woman, but he doesn't parade this around like a badge of honor.
And you know what I'm
Like,
saying?
there's,
Exactly.
oh, black women are less than, look what I have. That's what we see in the trend of, which makes it bad for couples who are organically in love. I mean, think about Virginia versus Loving back in the day, that couple, the very first interracial couple, in fact, has a point. Black Americans, first of all, we are a mixed race culture. We need to understand that we are not Africans.
Right.
We are not, I don't even like the term personally African American, because I would have to dig deep to find my African roots.
Right, exactly.
I'm not saying that they don't exist. Clearly they exist. But melanin just doesn't come from Africa.
Exactly.
But I exist and I acknowledge it, my heritage, if I understood it or I knew anything about it. But because of the slave trade, I'm not privy to that information. Therefore, I can't really boast talking about I'm African American.
Right.
When I'm probably 50 different things,
Exactly.
And you know what's
including European.
You know what's hilarious about that?
Exactly.
It's like this. Black people want to disconnect from people, and then the one thing I'm noticing is that I feel like I'm more connected to the white people here because why?
You mean, are you more connected to American culture? Is that what you're talking about?
No. America culture, that includes everything with America.
Yeah,
That
that's what
includes
I mean.
everything with you. Because if we was raped by them, those are grandfathers.
Okay.
I agree. That's,
Bro, it gets deep.
You're right. That's the point I'm making. We are a mixed race culture, so we can't stand on a line about race for real.
True.
We can't stand on the line about being black in America because that has been our plight. And black people have to always identify separate from being American. We were born and raised here. My grandparents were born and raised here. My great-grandparents were born and raised here.
I'm just
My
American.
great-great-grandparents are born
I'm
and raised.
just American.
I'm American. But we have to, society has forced us to define, which brings about the conversations like, can you really be pro-black with a non-black spouse?
Sure.
I believe you can. What I don't believe is that you can be pro-black if you distinctly choose to date somebody outside of black because you think you've upgraded.
Or you felt as though that I'm not going to date black women because of my upbringing.
No, because that's the same thing. That's the same thing.
But I hear that more.
That's the same.
I don't date black girls because they get it.
Hey, look, but
But see, that's a generalization because you can't. I don't mean to cut you off. That's a generalization to say all. But that's what we fighting with right now. All black people. The thing about is we have to stop allowing people to think we are one thing. We are many things like every other race in this world. We are many. We should not keep allowing ourselves. We can't go into a box. Keep allowing ourselves to get fit into this box. We have to do these things because these are black things.
Right.
You know,
Right.
We can't be these things because that's not what black people do. We can't say these things. That's not how black people speak. We can't wear these clothes because that's not what black people wear.
Right.
So until we as black people stop allowing ourselves to be placed in boxes,
And putting ourselves in these boxes.
we won't have to keep having these types of
I'm gonna have to
conversations.
not rebuttal, but I have to go back on. I agree 100%, and I think that's why I said the whole.
Yeah, that's why you can, but
because
you can't.
you're absolutely
It depends.
correct.
It depends on the person's mindset.
Yeah.
If there's some ignorant people out here that be like, man, I don't date no black chicks, I only want.
Exactly.
I mean, even the black dudes with Chris Brown, for example, no darkies. I don't want no dark skinned girls in this area. That mentality is toxic.
Very toxic.
That is very historical trauma.
Yeah.
That is very slavish. The
And
separation.
you know what? I'm gonna tell you something about this colorism thing.
Deal.
Okay, let's say I came up in the 70s. I'm sort of a little bit older than all of y'all. And you got television programming. So the only beauty that television showed us in the 70s
was fair black.
it was for white women.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a kid, only thing you see is beauty. It's always a white woman. So you grow up thinking like, okay, the white woman.
That's what they embedded into you.
Right.
Exactly.
So,
it's your perception.
for the early years of my life, I only dated light-skinned women.
Of course.
And you can look at my kids and tell they all yellow, as black as I am. You know? Yeah, you know.
Did you not find beauty in anybody in your life who was all? And trust me, I totally get the what's embedded. But I'm trying to figure out, okay, outside of what's embedded and they forced you, right? You had brown complected or dark complected women that you saw. What did you see in them?
Oh, I honestly, I was really young then. I really don't know because I only chased after the light skinned women.
Got it.
You know, but as I became older, I'm like,
that's
you know,
okay.
You know, I started becoming more attracted to darker women more like me.
Very
But me chasing after light skinned women was definitely embedded in me from
a younger age.
Very, very young.
It's definitely cultural. It's definitely a cultural thing where, you know, you see that all the time. Even in family structures, it don't even have to be just dating. Even in some of our family structures, we see that where the dark complected children are treated a little bit different than the fair complected children. The fair complected children are all. It seemed like they were always treated different.
I think I was treated different by the elders in my family.
Yeah.
And as I got older, I remember one of the great aunts of somebody, and she was like this, well, you're trying to be a pretty handsome guy to be dark skinned.
Well,
and I kind of like,
yeah, exactly.
And she was darker than I was.
It's called internalized oppression. Internalized oppression. And it happens so frequently.
And what's another odd thing is the different levels of colorism in each family. Like what is considered the
that's
dark,
because black is that's why I say what I said. We are a mixed race culture.
Yep.
You have some black people who are fair enough to pass.
Yep.
You have some black people who are dark complected.
Yep.
But they can be brother and sister. They can be uncle and nephew.
My brother's lighter than me. Both of them.
Right.
But it's the level that we
But back to what I think Fats was trying to say, just from what he said, is in order for us to get to this point, we as a whole have to recognize that everybody has to be in the pot in order to extinguish these thoughts on how we deal with race.
We have to know our history because it's a lot of things. Because that's all like, if black people own slaves, how pro-black is that?
Hey, I mean,
No,
wait, that's the area. I agree.
You talking about American history?
I'm not saying this didn't happen. I'm not gonna sit up and say that black people didn't own slaves.
Oh yeah,
but what was the percentage?
Oh, it was low.
It was low, but it was.
I'm not saying it ain't
more than enough.
I'm not gonna say it ain't happening.
It's more than enough when you're dealing with slavery.
I get to one is too many. One is too many.
But see, what we don't understand about that, we don't really have any stories. We don't know if it was. I mean, we understand one thing: that slavery. We understand that slavery. Not even that. We understand that slavery was a business.
Right.
It could be possible that they use it as a business model. We're talking about the atrocities that happened during slavery, not the business aspect of it. Because in history period, slavery has always happened. It was chattel slavery, the beating.
Yeah.
You know, the disparity, the oppression that came along with it.
But it was some black slavers who bought slaves and let them go.
Yeah. A lot of them did.
And so they were still considered to be black slave owners, but they bought these slaves and let them go.
To free them. To free them. A lot of them bought
because that was a smart business move.
It was a smart business move.
It was a smart business.
But of course, with everything, there's an opportunity for there to be good and there to be bad. We can say that there were black slave owners who freed slaves. We can say that there probably was some black slave owners who actually had slaves, and treated them like slaves.
All I was saying,
we just don't know.
All I was saying is that we need to evaluate the history of America.
But I'm saying, but when we talk about evaluating from whose perspective, because the history that we've been told from this point,
from our perspective,
because the history that we've been told to this point got a lot of loopholes. There's a lot of missing pieces.
Even with the loopholes in history, which I love being on, but it's just like, come on, man.
Yo, history is somebody's story.
It's somebody else's story.
They don't wrote that story to fit the way they feel.
You know the one thing I understand about history is that you can't lie but so much.
True.
You cannot lie with history but so much.
You can't lie with man.
You can just
history. You can lie.
No.
Man it's the only thing that's definite.
Things
No, see, distortion is a lie. Distortion is a part of lying. So,
yeah, it is a part. But I'm saying
listen, what I say, but that's even better saying than lying. That's even better. You can't distort it that much.
Yeah.
Because once you got it right here in your face, it's like right now this is square, and you telling me that's a circle.
But I'm looking at it square.
That's what Trump said to supporters. It's a circle, and you believe it.
No.
I'm only messing with you. I'm joking. I'm messing with you. I'm joking.
Speaking of your boy Trump.
Where's my hat?
Let's not drift into Trump today, yo. No, don't get started on Trump.
Yeah. But
we won't.
But it's okay. I think a lot of our issue is that we don't for us to be pro-black, blackity black. We don't accept our faults in the present day. So how are we gonna worry about the faults past?
Hey, look, in my opinion, the way I feel, I think me marrying somebody outside my race would be disrespect to my mother and my grandmother. That's just how I feel.
I can see that.
I know if my grandmother was a black woman, my mother was a black woman. So why would do I not feel that a black woman is good enough for me? Do I not feel my mother or my grandmother was good enough?
I can't even go with that because, like I said,
it's just the way I feel about it.
It's America. It's like, how can you say that?
You can't control who you want to love. It happens.
No.
It happens.
Organically. If you're not intentionally just picking white women. Like I'm just
just like
when you do it intentionally because you don't want to date a black person.
It's just like I intentionally picked white skin women for a lot of years.
But you still, they still black though.
They still black.
That's the
so
black.
But I didn't want nobody that was my complexion.
But you didn't go outside your race though.
But you didn't want anybody your complexion because of the treatment that you received, how you saw darker people being treated like.
And what the TV showed.
And I think the way I was treated, because I didn't want my kids to be called black chocolate chip cookie. And the way I was treated, you know what I'm saying?
People don't realize those things are
so I figured I was traumatized from that. Which is kind of weird, you know, like this.
Oh man,
it was the childhood trauma. It was kind of weird. Like now.
Yeah, but back then it's impactful. That shit. Listen, when you're a kid and people make points about different things, your appearance, those things stick with you your whole life. Those things don't go anywhere because they happen when you were a kid.
And
I was a black one with the big pink lips.
You learn to deal with it. I guess some of us, most of us, I would hope we try to learn to love ourselves.
I was fat and like big girls. I didn't care about.
But that's one personality.
That's just you.
But I'm saying, I was called fat. They talked about me, but no one got me over it. My mother.
Yeah.
Cause she fried me up every day.
But wait. That was a coping.
It's like man was like this. Oh, I'm fat. Wow.
Right.
Did you see your mother when she dropped you off? She couldn't have got in the car. Fights. Stuff like that don't hurt my feelings, but
get back on your mother already prepared.
You know what? See, I'm
your
not
mother
my feelings,
had not prepared.
but majority of people that call me black are people that are in my family.
Yeah.
I'm with you with that.
Listen, being fat and being black are two different things.
You can lose the fat. I can lose the black.
At some point.
Whoa.
I can lose the black.
To some point.
That's
and I'm still black.
I said to some point.
I'm probably blacker than I was then.
I'm not saying that
Wait a minute. What do you mean? What do you mean that's disrespectful? Because hold up, it's a fact. It's a fact.
No.
Can
I finish?
You can lose the fat.
Can I finish?
Go ahead.
Because if people was going, if it was just that easy, I ain't gonna give you. If it was just that easy, it will be no fat person having issues. There will be no fat people.
You know what?
No,
it may not be easy. Hey, look, it may not be easy, but I could never stop being dark, yo. Hey, look,
let's keep it right on the surface. What the surface is, the fact is that weight can be changed. Color,
yo, this is me.
That's it.
That's
all he was saying.
Hey, look, I just get darker. This is
changing the color. I'm like this. He's black.
But here's the thing, though. Just like your mom geared you and prepared you for Jonah, I wasn't prepared for Jonah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like my mother didn't gear me and prepare me for the fat jokes. Hold up. Even though nobody in my family teased me for being fat, because how could they when everybody else was fat, right? So when I went out into the world,
Everybody's talking
and,
Hey, look, but see, unfortunately, I was the dark one.
right?
Yeah, that's
Period.
That's
But you know what's crazy? In my family, me and Phil was the darkness.
I was
Correct.
the dark one.
But no,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
never
yeah, it was like-
had any trauma about that though. So therefore, when you went out into the world and people
We
did,
did.
you were already prepared with Johnny. You was already prepared to have an attack against them.
That was just talking about Johnny.
Okay.
But we know how to love ourselves.
What you failing to realize right now is that just because it didn't happen to you doesn't mean it doesn't happen to other people. So just because you didn't deal with that doesn't mean that I didn't, Brent didn't, Nick didn't. So understand where we coming from when we say, yeah, your mother geared you for being able to join and take the fat and that you adopt. My mother didn't give me for it. Brent mom didn't give him for it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Like, don't be ashamed of being fat.
Nobody, we're not negating any of that. We're not saying
Just be quiet, let me finish talking.
Okay, but I'm trying to wait for you to make
Nobody should be ashamed of being fat or black.
They're two different things, though.
No.
Hey, look, of course. Okay, fine.
Nobody
I'm
should
just
be
saying.
ashamed of
I'm
being
just
fat.
saying what have happened in the past.
But you're not naturally born with shame. People do something to make you feel shame. When you come out, you don't know that something is wrong with you until somebody points out that there's something wrong with you. You got a big nose, you got a big lips, you're dark, you're too black, you're too fat.
Right.
People have to make those for you to be like, huh?
Right.
Somebody has to say that to you for you to even internalize that kind of information.
Right. How long
So
did
it's
you think
worse
you
when
how
your
long-
parents
how
or
long
somebody
did
in
you
your
think you
family
was
does
white?
it.
How long did you think you was white?
I thought I was white.
I've never thought I was
You
white.
think you was
Hey, look, that has never been an issue of mine. I've never thought I was white.
How
No,
long-
the same way Brent like the light skinned girls. I watched TV and thought I was white.
So if you were able
How
to
did you look in
understand
the
that-
mirror and thought you was white?
Hold up, can I finish that?
Now,
Yes,
hold
but
up.
if you
Now,
understand
I asked
that,
the
why you
question.
can't understand that?
I asked the question to my mom and dad. It was like this: why are we this color, but we presented on? If we all humans, why is on white on TV? Because the only thing that made me think about me being black was when I saw Alfonso Ribeiro, Silver Spoons. I was like, that's
nigga, you was 18 by then. That's okay.
for Silver Spoons. I'm like,
I'm
I'm
joking.
about to say we were not.
I'm joking. I don't even want 18. I don't even want 18. I'm joking.
But yeah,
You know, by let me get this. I'm trying to process this. By watching television.
yeah, because I agree with
No,
all that.
listen. You watch
That
television.
nigga watched Ricky Schroeder.
And you thought by looking at TV that you was white just because you watched TV and all you saw was white people.
I thought we was all equal at that point. I didn't know about the
Oh, you didn't understand that racism exists.
yeah.
Well, I knew that looking at TV just by looking at TV.
No, because
Because it wasn't that many of me on there.
Nigga, I was raised in the
Something
South.
was in
I
back.
knew racism wasn't
When I
existent,
was growing
yo.
up, Different Strokes was out. Good time. I saw enough
Yeah,
black
but every TV that you saw outside, let me explain that to you too. This is how I knew it was real. Now, I was a smart child. Good Times was about black people, but where did they live? They were struggling
They
in the
was in the hood, they was
projects.
poor.
exactly.
Different Strokes were about two black boys who got adopted by a rich white man who he moved to a penthouse in New York City, and they lost every ounce of their culture in that process.
Okay.
You can keep them.
Facts of Life,
Yep.
Judy.
Yep.
She was the only black girl in the
the
whole
only
school.
black girl in private school. I mean, the list goes on and on. So yeah, there were black people. Diane Curl, who's very fair. She had her first show, but of course she was fair enough for them to put her on TV. I mean, from what I experienced, even the Jeffersons,
I was about to say.
even the Jeffersons, George